What is the x-coordinate of the centroid for the shape shown? So the best way to find the centroid is to break the shape into components. So I'm going to break this into 3 components. We got this big rectangle here on the left, 7 by 9 centimeters. We'll call that area 1. And then we've got this square on the right, 4 centimeters high and 13 minus 9, so it's 4 centimeters on the horizontal axis as well. So it's a 4 by 4 square. We'll call that 2. And then this circle is meant to represent a hole. I hope that was clear from the problem statement. This is an absence of area, so we know its radius. We're going to call that area 3. And we have to subtract that when we apply it to the centroid. So how do we actually calculate this? Use the search term in the reference handbook, centroid of area, and we'll find this formula here. It says x sub AC, which means centroid of area, and then it says it's the summation of x sub n times a sub n all over a. What does that mean? Well, x sub n is the centroid for a given area. So for each area, let's just talk about area 1 for a minute, its centroid is going to be somewhere near the center, of course, and we care about its centroid's x-coordinate. So we care about half of 9 centimeters. It's going to be 4.5. And it's going to be the same thing for each of these. Where are their respective centroids? And of course they have an x-centroid and a y-centroid, but we're specifically interested in the x-coordinate of the centroid. So we're going to ignore YAC. That's not entering into our calculation here. And then A is the area of that shape. In this example, we're finding the area of individual shapes, so it should be pretty easy to find those areas for squares, rectangles, and circles. And in the denominator, we're dividing by big A, which is the total area. So we'll just add them up, or in the case of the circle, we're actually going to subtract because it's a whole. So let's get into some of the analysis here. We'll start with the area for this big rectangle, which we're calling area 1. That's just going to be 9 centimeters times 7 centimeters, so 63 centimeters squared. And then the x-coordinate of the centroid for that area, I'm going to call that x sub c1, centroid for area 1, is 4.5 centimeters. And just want to point out, for the avoidance of doubt here, our coordinate system is in this light gray, just to make sure you don't miss it. So we're starting from an origin that's located here when we measure that x-coordinate. Now for A2, we're doing this square over here. This is 4 by 4. So 4 centimeters squared is 16 square centimeters. And the centroid for area 2 is going to be the entire 9 centimeters just to get to here, plus half of 4 is 2. So 11 centimeters altogether. And then for A3, we have to remember to subtract this one because it's a whole, but the area of a circle is pi r squared, and we know the radius is 1.5 centimeters, so it's going to be pi times 1.5 centimeters squared, and that equals 7.069 with a bit of rounding. And then the centroid is the same as the centroid for area 2 because this circle is centered in the square. So that's also going to be 11 centimeters. And now to put this all together, we're going to plug directly into this formula. So there's going to be a term for each area. And for the first area, 4.5 centimeters times the area, 63 centimeters squared. For the second area, plus 11 centimeters for the location of the centroid, times the area, which is 16 square centimeters. And now lastly, for the whole, we are subtracting. Very important. That's the easiest way to get this one wrong. Centroid's location is still 11 centimeters, just like the square, and the area is 7.069 centimeters squared. And now the total area, which we want to divide by, also have to remember to subtract here. So it's going to be 63 centimeters squared plus 16 centimeters squared minus 7.069 centimeters squared, because that circle is a whole and it does not contribute to the total area of the shape. It's the absence of area. And if we crunch all those numbers in the calculator, we'll get the location of the centroid on the x-axis is approximately 5.31 centimeters, and the best answer choice is B.